Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are joining us in the world. I'm AF, your host for tonight for this first live. What's it been? 2 months since our last one. Yeah, it's good to be back, and we are doing this for a very, I wouldn't call it a special occasion because then that means praising one half of that fixture. And that goes against everything that I stand for. But yeah, like it's more just going to be a Premier League chat, and then just looking forward to that Merseyside Derby that might have huge implications on the top and bottom of the table in the run into the end of this Premier League season. Joining me today, I have my trusted co-host as always, Jason Ronnie. How are you doing, my guy?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Don't have many complaints after last night's game. Yeah, just preparing myself for the nastiest hate watch I'm gonna have both tonight and tomorrow night. So yeah, feeling good. I'm in very evil spirit mode, so it's good.
I thought you're going to be wearing a Toffees jersey or something tonight.
I ate a lot of
Ooh.
toffees for the day. That's as far as I go. I don't think anybody owns a Everton jersey that lives in Cape Town. So yeah, it was a bit
Cool.
hard to get my hands on one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, come on, Sean Dyche and the boys.
Odua, good to have you back, guy. Like it's been a while, so nice to have you back for this special occasion. Yeah, I just said it, so I can't escape it now. But yeah, how you doing?
Good man, good man. It's good to be back. Yeah, I've been missing you guys. I'm missing the banter. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the game, man. Should be interesting.
Nice man. Nice, nice, nice. But before we get there, I did mention that we're gonna have a bit of a footy chat first. And basically we can go back to the weekend. There were some FA Cup games, the semi-final games. There was Premier League games as well. You guys catch any? Were there any games that might have caught your eye? We can chat Premier League first, and then we can actually just zone in on the two FA Cup games afterwards. But yeah, Udo, I'll start with you.
Cool, man. Yeah, this past weekend, I didn't watch a lot of football. I think the game that I watched was the Liverpool one. Yeah, very good. Very good. Victory. Yeah, man. I mean, no. I'm not even sure what's happening with my screen here. Let me just mute.
I'll just jump in there. Well, I caught most of the games, I think. So obviously Saturday we had a very high scoring day with Brentford and Sheffield and Burnley and then Arsenal as well. And then I think we spoke about we've been fixating on this title race and we've been looking at the top three, but I think we zone in now on the fact that Brentford got a win and that pushed Luton a bit further down. Burnley get a win, so that adds a bit of spice
Yeah,
there as well. And then we had previewed in our last game, we were talking about Everton Notts. And I think that Nottingham Forest game was more clouded in that, I wouldn't say suspicious, but rather dubious decisions that went against Nottingham Forest.
from the
Yeah,
Luton fan.
yeah, from the Luton fan who's involved in a relegation fight here. We obviously spoke about how bad VAR has been for every club this season, but I think coming into this run-in, I think it gets multiplied when you look at the costs that they are, I wouldn't say they're ensuring, but what they're actually causing with this poor decision and this poor officiating. I mean, not would I think it would denied like three different penalty shouts that in my mind I think were probably given throughout the season. So yeah, that's something that stood out for me. And then yeah, also I had my money on Fulham, man. I had my money on Fulham, and then Liverpool just rolled in and they just did what they do. It's
I
so
gave you hope
tiring.
at the beginning, though.
Yeah, yeah. So that I mean, ending the half at 1-1. Obviously, it's not the game that I was watching. I was
Yeah,
focusing on United Coventry. But then you like just check the score quickly, and it's like 1-1. Like okay, Fulham have a plan for us. Marco Silva, set
yeah.
up your defense and just do something, man. Yeah, and then Liverpool,
And
man.
then you were disappointed.
Yeah, so that's how I feel. Like I mean, I was saying that I'm gonna be hate watching, but hate watching is such a tiring sport. It's like waiting for that minute for it to go, and yeah, could have rather played golf. 100%. Yeah, 18 holes would have been much more exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, the first goal from Trent was just amazing. I've been advocating for Bradley these past
Yeah.
weeks, but you can tell, man, you can tell the quality from Trent. It's just different, and we don't have a set piece specialist when he's not there. I mean, McAllister can take corners and free kicks as well, but they're just not the quality of Trent. So yeah, that first goal from Trent, and then I think that victory for me was clouded by the injury to Jota, because that's my favorite. That's my favorite striker or my finisher at Liverpool. Yeah, if he can just stay injury free, that would be amazing. But then obviously that guy seems like he's made of glass. But I'm hoping he's back in the 2 weeks that they mentioned. So yeah, we'll see then.
Siad says that he'll come back when you talk about a real right back.
I think yeah, they're thinking Ben White or something. Has to be Ben White. Can't be Trent Alexander. Can't be Reece James.
Ben White, isn't he
Right
like
back.
a second striker or something?
He's everywhere that I need him to be at the right time, which is very hard. But yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was just.
I didn't rate Ben White, but yeah, recently he's playing well.
Yeah.
I think he should be called in for England. I don't know what's happening, the beef between him and the England coach, but I think they should call him, man, for the Euros.
I don't know, man. He plays with this. I wouldn't say carefree, but he looks like he's not interested in the game. But I think every game, if you're an Arsenal fan, you've been watching for a while, you'd see that every game it's at least like a 7 out of 10, and that's just doing what he needs to do. Obviously, he provides quite a bit of support for Saka, but now he's actually come in where before he just had to focus on his defensive duties and then do overlaps to like force that left back to go. But now he's like getting involved. He's actively involved, and he's starting to become, I'd say, similar to a Trent in the season that you guys won the league, where he's actually influencing the game from deeper. So I hate to say that Trent is the yardstick in this instance, but I think based on current form and just because Trent's been suffering from a lot this season, yeah, I'd go Ben White probably being the real right back that Ziad's talking about.
Yeah, I just want to go back to Odua's Jota comment. And I mean, shame the guy's probably he's been handed a very dealt a very bad hand this season, because he'll probably be the best player for a couple of games. He gets injured, and then he's out for a lengthy period. He comes back, he scores literally, and then he gets injured again, and like now the rinse repeat exactly the same way. And I think it's come every time it comes at the moment when Liverpool really needs him, because of, I mean, Darwin being Darwin, and I think Luis Diaz, as good as a player he is, his decision making at the end, in that final sort of action, it doesn't really like bring him out in the best light. So I think Jota is, after Mo Salah, the most complete package at Liverpool. But yeah, unfortunate to him every time he gets injured, and maybe we can shine a spotlight on that doctor instead of just questioning the doctor over at United every time with regards to injuries.
Yeah, I
What do you
mean,
of that front
yeah,
line?
man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, my front line will always be Diaz, Jota, and Salah. But then Salah of late has not been playing well. Also, Diaz, his attacking is very good. But then, as AF has mentioned, he's not a finisher. He's not going to give you goals. He's just going to create chances. So
Yeah.
a person that will score goals is needed at Liverpool, and Darwin is not that person. Unfortunately, he's another person that will miss 11 chances and only score one within a game. So yeah, my best player there, my best attacker has to be Jota. Unfortunately, now he's out for 2 weeks. Yeah, hopefully, like the next few games, we won't need him that much. But yeah, definitely the game against Spurs and I think Aston Villa also. We'll need him for those games.
Yeah, for sure. And then in Odo, you said you didn't really catch any of the other games this weekend. Jason, you mentioned the Everton Forest games. Do you want to go into the decisions, or those three decisions that Forest end up putting that Twitter post out about?
I think I can't remember everything exactly. And I know there was a handball, which we've seen being given recently, like very close contact, but the arm is still extended in an unnatural position. And then I think there were a few challenges where we've seen softer contact, I think, and this isn't now just to hone in on this Diego Jota fella, but the game against Newcastle with the penalty that he got when he rounded, who was it? I think it was Dubravka, right? There was less contact, and he was able to have gotten that. Whereas I think Ashley Young, for one of the tackles, I think he stood on Morgan Gibbs White's foot or something like that. And I think not only in that game, we had a few shockers from the Arsenal game as well. I think Wolves came with a very overly aggressive style of play, and they should have at least got one red card, if not two. And then last night as well, Nicholas Jackson. So I think it shines.
Jackson one was horrible.
Yeah, and it shines a light on the broader issue, which is the incompetencies that the Premier League refs show every week.
Yeah.
And I stand behind what Notts did, because every week we have to put up with this. And I mean, look, Liverpool took it once. Arteta's been fined as well. Like we let them get away with this and instead punish the teams for complaining and not the people that perpetrate the actual crimes. And that's like,
I was gonna say they'll probably find Nottingham Forest for that.
Yeah, 100%. Like they probably coming. And I think back to the time where Mike Dean said that he couldn't call him on the red, because then he's actually telling on one of his mates. And I think it's kind of sad, right? Because they're sucking out the football and they're making it into this product that they can then manipulate, where Premier League in its time, it was a product for the football itself and not just for, okay, let's cook this one, let's see if we can make this game a bit exciting. And then it's like, yeah, it's actually sad, man. But yeah, Everton with a massive win and hopefully enough momentum to take them into this Merseyside Derby. Nottingham Forest, everything is now to play for in this last few games. I think it's like 4, maybe 5 games left, but it's going to get tight.
I love it. I love it. I want them to go down. Just let them get over.
You say that now, right? But when your team's in the relegation fight, you're not going to love it, bro. I think Notts fans are then going to say, they absolutely love it. United could be soon.
Yeah. And I think in previous episodes, AF mentioned that Nottingham Forest has a good team. They have a good team. I don't know why they are in the relegation zone. I don't get it. Even they're playing, it's very good. There's no games whereby they've been blown away. They didn't compete. They compete in every game, but they just don't get the wins. So yeah, teams like that, and I think
they psych themselves up for certain games. Like when the opposition is stronger than them, then they try to get their game face on and they play out of the boots, put it like that. And then when it's like sort of the bottom of the table teams, then they start slacking off because they think that they're better than those teams, and that's when it backfires for them, which has happened quite a bit this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just jump to the comments, right? So we've got Ziad that's saying that he also doesn't rate Ben White at right back, but I think that he wants him to play in the midfield. Got Danielle October saying there's not been 1 week free of ref or VAR controversy, which is correct. That's 100% correct.
Yeah.
Ramiz was saying, what do we rate Ben White's tan? I don't think we rate that actually. I think that's what puts everybody off, and I think Ziad's talking about that. That tan is what puts opposition off, 100%. I think people look at him as like, who is this guy? Who's actually supposed to be like a club promoter. He needs to be
I
somebody that,
thought it was gonna disappear after the summer.
yeah. Oh, it's like it's cold, and then like once he sweats, but it's actually something that's like you. It's like
He must be
half,
renewing that.
yeah, it's like a half a tan. Maybe he must still complete it after the season for summer, because I don't know. Odwa mentioned that he has to be in that England setup, but I don't think he sorts out that differences between him and I think it's the assistant coach, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it happens. I don't know if it gets sorted out before this Euros. But yeah, that just means it's a longer break for Ben White. So I don't mind it.
Yeah,
He's
like
only what? He's 24, 25. So I think there's still quite a bit of time for you.
I mean, Southgate's going to be off after the tournament anyway, so
Yeah, going
chances
to
are
Man United, right?
probably with all my tears.
Yeah,
And then
let the guy cook. Let
yeah,
the guy
I
cook.
think the two right backs that go to England are going to be Trent and Kyle Walker. I mean, they put themselves in that team. Like, there's nobody else that would end up going, or nobody that
What
I could
happened to
think of.
Trippier? Did he fall off the?
That
Did he
guy,
fall off
he's
the
been
competition?
injured like
Was
quite a
like
bit
injuries.
recently, eh?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, but he's also. I think people forget, right? People look at this Trippier in this Newcastle team, and they're like, Newcastle had this recent run, but he's been in the game for a long time. He's what, like 32, 33. But also
Yeah.
Walker's also 33, but I think he mastered by the fact that he still runs like he's 21, 22. He still
True.
honestly behaves like he's 19 or 20. I mean, that's like off the field
Yeah.
antics. But on the field, he's still able to keep up with the best of them. I think it's only probably Mainoo that didn't care who Kyle Walker is and what Kyle Walker has, because Mainoo was the only guy that could chop him up every game. But yeah, I think Trippier has been unlucky with injuries. I'm trying to think what other right backs could possibly come in. If not Ben White, I mean Matty Cash was a shout, but he is now Polish.
Going to Poland.
Yeah. I don't know. Reece James, that guy.
Dude, he needs to
Always
get out of that doctor's room first. I think he has shares in it or something.
100%.
Yeah, that is gonna come back before the Euros.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I mean,
out for like
even if he does come back, he's not going to be match fit, so it's going to be kind of silly
Yeah,
to
true.
take somebody like him with him. But yeah, before the we get into the Merseyside Derby preview, let's just speak about the two FA Cup games that happened over the weekend. And once again, in the Chelsea City game, there was a VAR call there that I think Grealish handled that ball. I mean, that was obvious for everybody to see.
yeah.
And that just got brushed off. And once again, you mentioned earlier, like if it's like close range and sometimes they can't get their hand out of the way. But I mean, we've seen that specific handball given like 99% of the time. And then a day later, in the United game as well, when Bissaka, the exact same thing. Yes, his arm was like further away from his body compared to Grealish, but that one was
Yeah, that
given
was given.
immediately. So
Yeah.
it's always like, I guess it's like the flavor of the day referee that's on duty. But yeah, like let's just go into the two FA Cup semi-finals. Jason, which one did you catch? Both of them? Was there anything that like stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we don't run a conspiracy channel, but I think we have to talk about the fact that who was it? And not Anthony Taylor, was it Michael Oliver that was reffing the Man City Chelsea game? I mean, there's a cloud that hangs about all of these refs just because they ref poorly. But then for him specifically, a lot of talks about him being on the payroll of Man City and the Saudi owners and how they fly him out and he goes to go ref in these charity games and all these things. Like it's hard to look past that. And yeah, I think Chelsea were definitely robbed of that penalty. Whether they would have decided who kicks that pen in that moment in time, whether they would have fought, that's something that we were also robbed of. So yeah, I think we missed out on that spectacle. And then on the Sunday game, I think we were robbed of a real FA Cup classic there. I think VAR again. That decision.
But okay, that was the right call, right? Like, I mean, we talk about like VAR, like
Yeah.
being used in the incorrect way,
Yeah.
and that was one of the few times that VAR was used in the correct way. So
Um, I'd advocate for the occasion they shouldn't have used it correctly. They should just let it stand. Because that's the story. I mean, if you ever wanted a story that's so cooked, right? It's Man United
Yeah.
and in the
yeah,
championship team coming back and scoring. Like, I mean, that sells. Even if City
yeah,
go on and they smash them like they did Watford 6-0, it's Coventry. It's them getting to the final since ever. I don't know. But
I mean,
yeah,
they fought well though. They fought
yeah,
well.
no, no,
yeah, they
100%.
did.
100%.
I
They
thoroughly enjoyed it.
And yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think at the time, Eric Ten Hag was maybe justified to take Mainoo off, and who else did take off? I think it was Garnacho.
Garnacho,
At the
yeah,
time, yeah.
and leave
At the time,
Rashford on.
yeah. Okay, that maybe is not justified to do that, but at the time, you'd expect to just ride it out, right? But it's the magic of the FA Cup. AF, what is your feelings going through that game, brother? Like, I mean, that's the roller coaster
Yeah,
every game. That game
I was
specifically.
put through the ringer from,
Mm,
like, I mean, even though we were 3-0 up, I'm like thinking in my head, and I'm chatting to my buddy. I'm like, they're gonna come back. They're gonna equalize. I can feel it already, and that's exactly what they did. The moment Mainoo went off, he was our only natural centre midfielder.
mm,
We started with Mainoo, McTominay, and who was the other
Bruno.
one? Bruno. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we started with the three of them. McTominay's his station now is to like push up and to be a sort of auxiliary second striker. Um, so when he pushes up, Bruno is all over
yeah,
he floats around, he roams around. That leaves Mainoo alone to station and engineer that entire midfield. To
yeah,
take Mainoo off for Christian Eriksen
yeah,
was that firstly it's never gonna work. So
yeah,
the moment that happened, I was like, nope, we conceding immediately here, and that's exactly
yeah,
what happened. And I mean, when that happened, it's not like McTominay pushed back or helped out at the base of midfield. Like he was still also roaming around and like pushing further up. So
yeah,
it's not like Ericsson had any help.
yeah,
Um, and then McTominay got injured as well. So and
yeah,
then we brought on Omari Forson, who is a winger.
yeah,
So it was like in Eric Ten Hag, all the substitutes that he's making is inviting them to keep on pushing. And we got picked back so
yeah,
often after that. And then we just conceded. And it
yeah,
became open season for Coventry. And I'm not surprised that what happened. What I thoroughly hated was that cupping of the ears from Anthony. Like that
mm,
is embarrassing. That is disgraceful. Just get out of my club, dude. Like, how can you even do something so stupid?
Actually,
okay,
when he
so
was coming in, I saw a tweet from someone saying, "This is the time Coventry comes back," and they actually
yeah,
did. So him coming in and doing that as if he scored the match winner. Come on,
mm,
man. You're not supposed to
Yeah,
yeah,
behave that way.
it's like, I mean, I think there was firstly nobody ran to Erasmus after he scored, right?
yeah.
They were all like, I think
And it's
everybody
his
was like,
first senior penalty. That was his
yeah,
first senior penalty.
I mean, it was a good penalty,
Yeah,
but I don't know, maybe they were tired, and I think Maguire walked over and he shook everybody's hand, I think, and then Anthony did that, and then they eventually started going. Um, but yeah, it's just, I mean, okay, so now after you've got that right, and now Tina goes to another final. What are your thoughts? Is he still gonna stay or
like I mean, you said it best in the last episode. It's another band-aid or another plaster over a massive crack.
yeah,
And there's like, I mean, I'm not saying that there's a chance that we're going to win that final, because if we played anything like we did on Sunday,
yeah,
we are going to get absolutely shredded by City.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, like I mean, he's going out in the press the entire week saying, yeah, it's an achievement. We got to another final,
yeah,
2 seasons, 2 finals, and stuff. And fair enough, like they got to another final, like good on him.
yeah,
But I mean, there's still no idea of what's actually happening in that club, what's actually happening with the patterns of play. Like,
yeah,
are the players even buying in? Why is he playing Marcus Rashford 90 minutes when he's the most out of form player in that team.
Yeah.
There's just a lot wrong in that team, and I I had a hope that he might probably make it through the summer and start next season off and stuff, but there's been more and more rumors that Ineos and Sir Jim is just they're over him and they're looking
Yeah.
elsewhere. So I won't be surprised if he gets sacked as soon as the season is done.
Yeah.
It's giving me vibes of Van Gaal, where he won the FA Cup and then literally 5 minutes after the trophy ceremony, he got the call that he's being sacked. So
Sure.
I won't be surprised if something similar happens this season, but it's just going to be after City lift the trophy that will get the call that he's going to be sacked.
Just to jump to the comments again. So we have Ramiz. It seems like he's in a one-sided chat here, but I thank you for your comment, Ramiz. He says United were the underdogs. Anthony said he was provoked, so maybe that's what meant that he had to do that cupping of the ears. Ericsson ran to Rasmus and then somebody else. Okay, so yeah, also another crime against humanity. You're now making the guy that's got a pacemaker to run the full length of the field after the game. Ten Hag out for me. And then Ten Hag getting the most out of this poor squad. They don't have what it takes. Yeah, I think it's been a season that's been ravaged by injuries, right? And that's all thanks to Gary O'Driscoll, former Arsenal head of medical. Arsene Wenger has only gone and done it again. But yeah, as much as he's getting a lot out of the squad, there has to be some sort of a system, and we speak about this anytime that we speak about United. There's glimpses of it, but if you're wanting to sustain or maybe give yourself a chance, you have to show something a bit more consistently. And I think you said it last week that you would want him to stay or maybe get 15 games or like so. And if he's still not cutting it, then okay, go. He's going to put an even massive plus and an even bigger one over the issue and not give somebody the correct time. So then it's going to go, okay, can you do something for us for 6 months? And then the following year, you then only get the full prep. Yeah, as I think towards the latter end of Wenger's years, we put up with it. And okay, I'm saying that now, like I'm not grateful for what he had done for Arsenal, and that's 100% incorrect. I'm 100% grateful for him. But there just comes a time where, okay, maybe he's reached this year, and maybe Ten Hag isn't doing what he needs to do now, and maybe with this new ownership, they'll get more support. But yeah, I'm glad that I don't need to make this decision. For a spectacle perspective, I'd say stay. I think for my friend AF's mental health, I'd say maybe Ten Hag must go. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, no, like I'm still holding out that he should end up like staying, but like just based on the rumors, I think he doesn't do it. Like Rami said here in the chat, you give Ten Hag a season with a proper backstaff and more players in. Okay, well, his backstaff is like he's chosen that already. I don't think that's going to change. If you mean backstaff by the technical director and the sporting director and the director of football, who's going to be coming in June with Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox and I think it's Umar Birada that we got from Man City. Then I fully agree. Like then at least there's proper planning in the football department. And for the first time in United's history, they're going to have some sort of direction from a footballing perspective and not being run by bankers. Shout out Ed Woodward. Actually, no, not shout out. Don't want to shout the guy. But yeah, before we go into the Merseyside Derby, I'm just going to end it on the United front here because we have a comment in the chat here, and it's a bit of an embarrassing one because of what happened last night.
Who gave this bra airtime? Who gave him Wi-Fi to put a comment like that?
So,
Porsche with trust.
But then,
do you just want to speak about that rubbing from last night, just to rub it in the Chelsea fans' face for a bit?
guys, I'm a humble Victor, okay? But the Chelsea team is fraud, no? Like 200 mil signings, right? And I think, and I said this, right, and I have a theory, and I need to watch more Chelsea games to actually prove it. But my theory is that Enzo Fernandez makes the Chelsea team worse. In their best games this season, I don't think he played. And I'm saying that because I think their best game recently was probably the Everton game. I don't think that their best game was the United game, that 4-3, because that was more just Man United falling apart at the seams. But yeah, I don't see. Yeah, and he has this aggression, right? And I think it's every Argentinian player except maybe Messi, because Messi's proven himself. But all of them feel like they have to validate their existence. I mean, looking at maybe like Martinez. Martinez wasn't like that, and then he suddenly got this little chip on his shoulder. Fine, okay, great keeper. Finally had his chance. Romero, I've had doubts about him, and I think every game he almost proves that. Enzo Fernandez, after a good half a season or one season at Benfica, he signs for Chelsea, 100 mil, big tag. And then, yeah, he's done nothing since he's joined. I think in the 50-odd games that he's played for Chelsea, I think he's only won 14. And that's scary numbers. I don't think he's been higher than like 7th or 8th. So, yeah. And also, what a massive bullet that Arsenal dodged, not getting Mudryk and actually going fully under Trossard. I'm just looking at Stalik's comment. We don't want your leftovers, brother. We'll take Havertz, which is actually your leftovers, but we've actually upgraded him. You know, we've turned scraps into a nice meal, and we are feasting.
And Jorginho.
Yeah. So yeah, 100%. Mudryk looks completely lost, and we had mentioned it last week. They just lack the experience for the system or for this team, and not to get too stuck into tactics and all those things. Like, there's just not enough guys who have done it in that team full of youngsters where you've just signed all of the best young talent with no possible experience. I think they probably, next thing is probably going to be that they're going to do like a Moneyball situation where they sign all these old guys, and they'll probably end up signing like Ashley Barnes, you know, because previously had a good Premier League season, and they'll motivate for it, and he'll score a few goals and it'll be working. And then you'll have all these kids that are just going to be sitting on 8 to 9 year contracts. And it's just like, yo. Yeah.
But I mean, so
I actually think Chelsea needs.
Sorry, you can
I
go
was just
ahead.
gonna say I was actually think Chelsea needs another striker. That's not Jackson. I mean, Jackson is good, but his finishing, he's just like Darwin Núñez. He could be even worse.
They haven't Kunku, but he's injured at the moment, and he's
injured.
From what I can tell, he's the first choice striker. But I mean, the guy's injured more often than not.
Yeah. And then in midfield, I wouldn't play the combination of Caicedo and Enzo. It just doesn't work. One of them needs to play a game because they're both DMs. One of them needs to play a game, and then one of them needs to bench or leave the team. I don't think they're suitable to play with each other. In case of Mudryk, that guy, he's not a footballer. I think it's just I don't know.
What's that name that Real gave Ukraine Bolt?
Ukraine Bolt, yeah.
Ukraine Bolt. He just runs around the field. Doesn't do anything. So I would get rid of him also.
I was watching the game last night, and I don't think Nicholas Jackson is as bad as that. Like, I think the guy is just suffering from rock bottom confidence at the moment, and like the header opportunity. I was watching the halftime analysis, and Ian Wright basically said that he was covering his face because he was scared that he was going to like get hit in the face by like one of the other players, like going for the header as well, by a boot or something. And Ian Wright is like, you're a striker, you shouldn't be afraid. You should go in like all guns blazing. Like, don't be afraid. And I mean, that just shows how low his confidence is right now. Because I really don't think he's a bad striker, but man, the guy is struggling proper struggling.
There seems to be something when he gets into the box, because he doesn't struggle with making runs. He doesn't struggle with anything. It's
Yeah.
just something when he gets into the box. I don't know if he panics. I don't know. I don't know what happens when he gets into the box, but there seems to be something. And maybe Chelsea needs to get a striker coach or something. But he's a decent player. He makes good runs. He challenges the defenders all the time. No
Yeah.
defender relaxes on him, but then he just doesn't finish.
Yeah. Before we move on to our final segment,
Let's highlight
Poch
Son.
said before the game that the players now have an opportunity to say that this is Chelsea Football Club, not Palmer Football Club. But
Those are
they'll
like
get
those.
that fired.
Yeah, those are those Twitter accounts, tweets that age badly or images that seeded. Like, bro, you actually can't say that, man. Because literally, I think Poch said in one of the earlier interviews in the year, he's like, sometimes we just give the ball to Cole and just let him decide what must. And that's like, how do you come out and say that, man?
And Tim Shaw did that as well in that one interview. We put Palmer on the spot, and he said that like they should build a team around you, and they should get more quality in, because the players
Yeah.
that you currently have around you, they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's people like blatantly saying it out there, but you can't be saying stuff like that, because it shatters all the other players' confidence. And like,
Yeah.
you could think maybe they were like last night, oh, is this really Palmer Football Club? Okay, we don't have to try now. Not that I'm making an excuse for them, because they are trash. But yeah, I think we can close that chapter now. Jason, do you want to read us the lineups for the Merseyside Derby?
Let me give you some teams here. Okay, so we got Jordan Pickford in goal. A back four, I presume, of James Tokowski, Vitaly Mikalenko, Ben Godfrey, and Jared Brathwaite. Midfield of Dwight McNeil, Jack Harrison, Idris Aganaga, and James Garner. And then a front line of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Abdullah Decore. And then Liverpool, going to Liverpool side, we got Alisson Becker. We got Verge, Konate, Andy Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Midfield, we got Szoboszlai, McAllister, Curtis Jones. And then Odua's favorite front line, minus one player, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and Mohamed Salah.
Odua, what do you think of that?
Yep. Yeah, see there,
And that team do a
I
job
would
for
have
you.
I would have replaced Jones with Endo, and just push up McAllister and Szoboszlai, and also I would have put in Gakpo instead of Núñez. Otherwise, I think everything else looks solid.
I don't see Gakpo on the bench, though.
Yeah,
Gakpo's
I don't know
not
what
on the bench.
app's not
See him too.
refreshing.
Maybe he's injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's injured. I don't see him too. Yeah.
I don't know how
The bench is
injured. He plays like once every 6 weeks. They really shouldn't be getting injured.
Yeah.
Odua, quick question.
Yeah, but then I think it's a solid team.
So, like a few weeks ago, we saw that like Kwanzaa, he had that centre back spot next to Virgil lockdown. Do you think that Klopp is going for experience now, just to try and cement whatever 3 points they can get in the remaining fixtures? Do you think that's like good for his confidence? What's your take on Kwanzaa just being dropped from the team for this the last run-in?
Yeah, I think it's a mentality thing. I mean, a Merseyside Derby is a huge game. Even though Everton might be might be fighting relegation, but in Merseyside, that's regarded as a big game. So, I think it's going for experience there. Yeah, just a mentality thing. I think Konate is more mentally stable, or I think he can manage this game with Van Dijk at the back. Yeah, man. I think that's a good thing. That Klopp is managing that.
Cool. Okay, so let's just like go in terms of where we think this game is, like who's going to be the standouts, and where are the weak points going to be for each team. Jason, I'll start with you.
So for Everton, I'm thinking the whole team. Um, Really, they don't know how to turn up. But now I think Liverpool, obviously now Arsenal's laid down this gauntlet, and we will see now what happens, whether they'll now rise to the occasion. Obviously, in the last 2 weeks when Liverpool lost against Crystal Palace, Arsenal couldn't step up to the plate, and obviously City did. So I think it's a good test for them. I think Everton, like we said, are fighting relegation, so I think they don't need any extra motivation for this game. I think where it's won or lost is probably in that midfield battle. I do rate Indo. I think he provides a sort of cover that Liverpool have lacked since Fabinho's been gone. And I don't watch lots of Liverpool games, but the few that I have watched, I've seen him, and I think he plays very well. So if Everton are somehow able to overpower in that midfield, which is not to say, and if they can somehow cut off McAllister, I think McAllister's come into a decent run of form recently, and if they can cut off his supply and his line of supply to that front three, and more specifically to Salah and maybe Diaz, because I think they're more involved in that creative final third part. I think that's where it gets won. I don't know if there's anybody in the Everton team that we can pick out in terms of offensive play. But yeah, I suppose a guy like Calvert-Lewin's played in a few of these games. He's had influence on a few of these games as well.
I'm
So
thinking Dwight McNeil, to be honest. Like I
yeah,
watched a lot, like not a lot, a couple of the recent games, and he's been the one player that's actually tried to do stuff. So
yeah,
himself, Abdullah Decore, they would like try to make things happen, but not that it's ever successful. I
yeah,
mean, the Forest game is one of the few games that they actually kept a clean sheet. I think that was their first clean sheet in about 4 or 5 games now.
yeah,
So yeah, like I think the two of them are players to watch. Um, but yeah, that back line, I see Ben Godfrey's in there again. I don't think he's kept a clean sheet uh, all season, probably in all the games that he started,
yeah,
which is a very bad omen for this game.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Ottawa on the Liverpool side, who do you think is gonna? Do you think Darwin has his shooting boots on today? Do you think he misses the crossbar and into the net this time around?
Hey, I'm hoping he has his shooting boots on, man. And I'm hoping Diaz. Yeah, I'm hoping Diaz that he'll provide chances for Nunes and Salah. Also, I don't know if Jones is going to be the one that plays the DM role, because I'd like to push McAllister up with Soboslai. So we'll see how that will be managed during the game. And then just on the Everton side, I was thinking that Amadou Onana is going to be there, because that's the player that I rate from Everton. But I
Yeah,
see
he's
that he's on
scored.
the bench, so I'm happy. So I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. Also, McNeil, quite a decent player. And yeah, I think those are the only players. Oh, Tarkowski as well, in defense. But
Nah,
then
no
other than that,
chance. That guy's a
yeah,
liability.
I know he scores a lot of own goals, but but still, yeah, I think he's a decent defender. Otherwise, I think this is just an easy Liverpool win, man. It should be routine.
Yeah. So on that note, predictions from Ottawa. You can go first.
I'm going 3-0 Liverpool.
Nice,
Oh,
Jason.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going. We're going to be like a 3-1, to be honest, Liverpool.
Who do you think is going to
Um,
score for Everton?
Probably James Tarkowski from a corner or something. Or it's going to be like some weird goal. Like, I think Liverpool have a knack of just giving up a bit of a silly goal now and again, and I think it will be in this game. But I can also see how it's going to go to. Like, Liverpool can just possibly overrun them in the first 15 minutes, and Everton just don't come out at all. Yeah, I think Saudi gave a comment as well. He said 4-0 Liverpool incoming.
Mm.
Um, Ramiz is saying Klopp is managing his farewell tour. He also said Darwin for crossbar challenge, which I would definitely put money on that, 100%. Ziad's actually asked a question. He says, slot to Liverpool thoughts. So, AF, maybe give your prediction. We can let Odwa just talk a bit just before we wrap up, just about what his thoughts are on.
So I'm just gonna give a high level thing here. So everybody's raving about the type of football he's played at Feyenoord and how he's like revolutionized their play. Everybody said the exact same thing about Erik ten Hag, and you came to United, and that all got chucked out the door. It's another Dutch bold manager coming to the Premier League. So
Hold his best.
make of that as you will.
Yeah, but then I don't think, because I saw that he's also on the radar of Bayern. Since since they're losing their coach, and I don't think
Yeah.
Bayern would want like a coach that's not up to par. I haven't seen a
Yeah.
lot of him, but yeah, well, I don't know.
You
I
say
don't
that
know
you
at this
say that, and
point.
then Bayern was linked to Ralph Ragnick earlier today as well. So
Yeah.
Ah,
I mean, I don't think there's anything about Paul at the moment. I think Bayern just want to coach.
yeah. I mean, we'll see as the time go. Let's just focus on the league now. Let's just focus on the league.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jason, what are your thoughts on the bold Dutch manager?
Well, I mean, I think I've been clear about Erik ten Hag. I don't think he's up to standard. I'm dismissing. Now, on a slot seems good, but it's always, I mean, people used to talk about Pep, and it's like, is he going to be able to do it in the Prem? And I think he's the only one that's come and not been a bold fraud. But I think Arno would be able to. I think why they like him is because his style is similar to Klopp's. I think they play that expansive football that Liverpool maybe lost. And I think that's why they'd, for this period of transition where Klopp has turned them into something that is so competitive, to now maybe taking their foot off a little bit. I think he provides the best gateway to that. Maybe he's not the 7-year period that Klopp had. Maybe he's a season or two while they wait for somebody else to maybe develop. Maybe they give Xabi one more season to see if he then wants to come again. Yeah, I can't really comment too much about Arno, but I think from what I've seen from Feyenoord, I mean, I think they recently beat Ajax, but then again, anybody's been beating Ajax. So it's not really much to go by. So I think he will be good in terms of the football that Liverpool want to play. Whether it will be good to make them as competitive as Klopp has made them, and whether Liverpool fans are going to accept the fact that they're not going to be as competitive. And I say competitive and not successful because that's also an asterisk, right? They've been doing well, but they've been hustled by.
From my side, I used to watch Jay Spearing, so it can't get any worse than that.
No, okay.
It can't get any worse than that.
Yeah, so it's just
I survived that era.
Yeah, and if you can survive that and Kyriakos as a centre back,
Exactly.
then you should be good. Yeah, I just think he's not going to be able to come in immediately, and I think Liverpool fans need to be okay with that. And I've seen quite a bit of discourse online about people saying this is going back to the Liverpool of old, where Man United were like very dominant, and Liverpool used to struggle, the Jay Spearing era. But yeah, I think it will be a good signing. I think it will bring somebody new in. It maybe brings a fresh face, and yeah, hopefully his tactics can survive in the Prem. And then yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, all fair. Before we sign off, there is something called the North London Derby on Sunday. So we're not going to preview the game, but I just want to get your guys' thoughts and predictions on what you think might happen in that game. I mean, Spurs they want that top four space, saying that fifth spot doesn't go to Champions League anymore. Thanks, Arsenal and City. But yeah, so Spurs is going to be fighting for that fourth spot now. Arsenal obviously they want that title. How do you think that game is going to go, Odwa?
I'm hoping for a good game because they've been resting for 2 weeks now. They haven't been playing any football, so I think like as we're approaching the end of the season, that's a good rest for them because that doesn't usually come. So I'm hoping for a good game, lots of goals, but then I'm hoping for a Spurs win. I'm crossing fingers here. I'm going Spurs 2-1.
Do you have a Spurs jersey or something at home that you can maybe wear on Sunday?
I don't know. I'll find one. I have a friend. I'll find one.
They're always in the discounted sections, man. Don't worry. Nobody buys them, so I have to sell it off. Yeah, I'm a bit. I'm always nervous in this back end, or not always. Recently, I've just become very nervous. Arsenal had it, and we didn't have it. And then I also had PTSD from the years where we were in similar positions where we started falling out. We need to be near perfect for these next few games. And I mean, we have Spurs now, and then we have United as well. So it's going to be, I think we have Spurs, then Bournemouth, then United, then Everton. But yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a tricky game. We've looked a bit leggy recently. Some of the guys aren't firing as I'd like them to. I mean, we're still getting good results, and it's fine, and it clicks. But going to the stadium, and like Odwa says, they haven't played for forever. They've had time to study footage, and they've had time to set up for probably the nastiest counter-attacking system ever. So, yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm going to go with the Arsenal win. I think it's going to be like a 2-1 Arsenal, 3-1 maybe even.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go 3-1 Arsenal. Son will get the one goal, but yeah, I don't think there's any way that Arsenal let this one slip. They're gonna take hold of the top of the Premier League, and I think City's game in hand is only in game week 37. So
Yeah,
until
I think
then, Arsenal.
it's against Spurs as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it
So
is.
that's probably,
Yeah, so until then, Arsenal have the opportunity to stay at the top of the Premier League at the end of every game week.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that they're going to let that slip. But yeah, I think we are at the end of our episode. Thanks so much, Urwa, for pulling in. Always great to have you on, my man. Where can the guys find you?
Just on Twitter, that dude Odwa, that_dude_Odwa on Twitter. And also shout out to my son. I see him on the comments. I don't know what he's saying there, but yeah, cool. He's watching. Yeah, Facebook is just Odwa Solani.
Nice one.
Okay,
Jason,
cool.
where can the peeps find you on the socials?
Yeah, Jason_Ronnie, and then Jason Ronnie on TikTok. I don't post, but I try and make funny memes for the Sporticos TikTok page. So yeah, please support, please like.
Yeah, definitely. Give us the like, give us a sub, give us a repost, like everything. Just like share all our channels with your friends, your family. We trying our best to get our name out there. So your support means a lot to all of us. So we are at Sporticast on all social media platforms. I am at AF Parker 642 on all social platforms as well. Yeah, have a great night. Enjoy all the footy and enjoy the North London Derby over the weekend. Peace out.
Merseyside Derby first.
Cheers.
Cheers.